From Southern Maryland's weather leader, this is a JB Weather Alert.
Hello and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Forecaster John Bordash back with you in the JB Weather Center this afternoon, continuing to track what is continuing to be a rather active day here in the Weather Center, and I do imagine that this active stretch of weather will continue right on through this evening. We do have a brand new tornado warning in effect here for northern portions of Richmond County and central portions of Westmoreland County, and this is for that pink shaded area here that includes Montrose, Virginia, and this is going to be a tornado warning that goes in effect now and runs to about 3:15. Zooming out just a little bit to give you a general look of where this system is and where we are going to be tracking this. This is on the northern neck portion of Virginia, again getting into Westmoreland County. This is to the south of Colonial Beach, but this could look to pose a threat to Arica, Virginia, and then potentially even southern parts of St. Mary's County in about the next hour and a half or so if this storm is able to hold together. Let me go ahead and get to the latest information, though, on this storm. Zoom back on into where this potential tornado touchdown is. A tornado warning, again, is in effect for northwestern Richmond County and central portions of Westmoreland County until 3:15. At 2:37 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Newland or near Montrose and moving east at only about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Right now, this is radar-indicated rotation, but flying debris will become dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed in this type of a storm. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This storm is likely to be in the Montrose area just about now, over the next 5 to 10 minutes. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include, but are not limited to, Laerty, Singerly, Peeds, Stratford Hall, Phoneswood, and Templeman. Some very interesting town names here in Westmoreland County. So again, this area here shaded in pink is this area that does currently have this active tornado warning. If we look big picture, there is a broad tornado watch in effect for much of the mid-Atlantic that includes all of southern Maryland, the D.C. metro area, the northwestern suburbs, even up towards Frederick and Hagerstown, back to Winchester, Harrisonburg, and down toward Charlottesville and down towards the Richmond area. This tornado watch for everybody goes until 10 p.m. This evening. This is where severe storms are likely to develop and where we could be looking at a couple of tornadoes potentially. We are on our second tornado warning of the day. Damaging winds within any singular storm could potentially get up to 65 to 70 miles per hour, and we could even have a few instances of 1 to 1.5 inch sized hail. Again, those areas here shaded in pink, and even if I take off the radar for a quick moment, you can see where this potential, where this tornado warning is in effect here. This covers the Route 3 area down to 202, the Montrose area here, and northern portions of Richmond County. For those of you in the path of this potential tornado touchdown in this tornado warning until 3:15, here are your tornado safety protocols. You want to be moving indoors with a building with a solid foundation. A mobile home, a shed, an awning, those are not going to be areas that are going to be useful. You want something with a sturdy foundation. Within that building, you want to get to the lowest level, either a basement or a first floor, and you want to shield yourself. Put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible, and you want to cover your body. You want to be thinking about if there's flying debris, how can I protect myself from that? Could a mattress, a blanket, pillow, a helmet be useful? And also, I would have important documents with you, right? A wallet or a purse alongside you. Worst case scenario, a tornado does move through. You want to make sure that you have everything ready to go in the event that that occurs. Again, it's this area here shaded in pink. This is going to be to the west of Arica. This is south of Colonial Beach. I'm going to see if I can get you some more town names loaded up here with this. This is a rather rural area here in northern portions of the northern neck, but definitely an area that we are going to be covering with this. Actually, what I want to show you is this base velocity. We talk about this, and I want to see if I can't just get this, get the header for you to show you what exactly it is I am looking at. All right, so this is a look at a version of radar, and radar allows us to do many things. It allows us not just to see where we have rain and kind of how heavy that rain is, it also allows us to take a look inside of a storm and take a look at the winds. What direction are they moving and how quick are they moving? And where we see here, and you can see your legend up top, the wind direction, where you can get, turn the tornado warning off just briefly, where you can get areas of red, especially bright red or orange or yellow. That would indicate strong winds moving away from the radar. In greens, especially those bright greens, are winds headed towards the radar. A way to visualize that with this scan of radar, you have winds moving away from radar like this and towards the radar like this. This would indicate a strong rotation couplet here. This is just to the west of Montrose, and this is tracking here to the north and east slowly, only about 12-15 miles per hour or so, but we are seeing some pretty decent rotation, strong couplet, even a little bit stronger than we were looking at earlier with that cell that moved through Stafford County, Virginia, back during the 1 o'clock hour. This is a pretty decent rotation couplet that we're going to be tracking here to the north and east. I want to see if I can't just get a timeline here, maybe over the last half hour, let radar load here just a little bit. We can see how this storm has generally been tracking here. Generally moving to the east. You can see that rotation couplet is definitely kind of strengthened here over the last 5 to 10 minutes. So this is definitely going to be a situation that we are going to be watching closely here as this storm moves through northern Richmond County and now getting near Montrose and central portions of Westmoreland County. Go ahead and clear some of this off here for you. Let's put that tornado warning box back on, and let's go ahead and bring us back over to a version of radar that looks at least a little bit more friendly to us that people would recognize. And let's get the right header loaded there. So again, this is the general area, and if we zoom out, you can see we are looking at a few storms now beginning to develop. These right now are kind of widely scattered. However, where we do have storms, they are producing heavy rain, they're producing that lightning, and they are beginning to even show us some signs of rotation. I mean, we've been tracking the storm up here in portions of Charles County. Let's bring us back on over to that velocity. A very weak rotation couplet over Pomfret, moving just to the south of Bentonville, but something to watch. Heads up in Waldorf and White Plains. We have another storm that's just moved through Stafford, headed towards the Nanjemoyne area. Very weak rotation. I'm not even sure if I'd call it rotation at this point, but something to watch. We have another storm there in crossing the Potomac towards Nanjemoyne. An additional south that's moving to the Swan Point and Cobb Island area. This did have a special marine warning associated with it. And then to the south here, this storm that's getting ready to move into the Montrose area that has pretty decent rotation as it moves into that area. We will be watching all of this. If I bring it back on over here, let me show you where our elevated risk here of severe weather is for today. It's those areas that are shaded and outlined in yellow. These are areas that have that level 2 risk of seeing severe weather this afternoon and evening. The primary concerns here, as we have a warm front kind of dancing around, would be damaging winds and that potential for rotation. Several tornadoes could be possible today. When we have warm fronts nearby, they kind of kink the wind flow. You kind of get just a natural twisting and turning of the winds in the middle to upper levels of the atmosphere. And it doesn't take much to get that to drop further through the atmosphere down here to the surface. So that's why we're going to be watching this tornado risk. And this is where we've seen now 2 tornado warnings, one in Stafford County, now one down towards Westmoreland County. And again, I think that tornado risk does also extend across the Potomac River here into parts of southern Maryland. I would really say areas south of about Brandywine and south of Deal are going to be areas that we're going to be watching. Typically, as these storms move over the Potomac River, they do like to spin up quickly as they get near the Chesapeake Bay. So it's going to be something we're watching. I'm really looking at this time period between about now and about 10 o'clock for potential severe storm development as we look at all of this weather, all of this energy continue to move here to the north and east. Let's go ahead and bring it back on over towards radar. Let's zoom it on out, just give you a nice general look at what we're talking about. Continuing to watch the storm up here towards the Pomfret area. Let's get you a look at reflectivity. You can see where we are looking at just a little bit of a kink there in the rotation just south of Bentonville on the radar at least. Getting near 301, definitely something to watch. In the very least, you're looking at heavy rain, likely some lightning as well. As this storm moves to the north and east here. I want to see if I can't get just natural cell to markers, and you can see there where this storm's moving northeast here at about 15 miles per hour, so heads up Waldorf and Brandywine over the next hour. This other storm getting into the Nanjemoy area, more heavy rain. Again, some potential rotation heads up for those of you along Route 6 there in Nanjemoy on over towards 425 as well. That storm on over towards Swan Point. The rotation with this storm is not nearly as high as it is with some other storms, but definitely something to watch as it tracks here to the east towards Maddox, Chaptico, and Clemens. And of course, our system that we are watching here in parts of Montrose right now that continues to show signs of rotation. We can see where we get those bright reds and bright greens together, getting ready to cross Route 3. See if we can't get you some specific street names here. We're looking at China Hill Road right now, Peach Grove Lane, State Route 3, of course, Finches Hill Road, Northernmost Road, how fitting there in northern parts of Richmond County, Polk Streets, Ames Lane, Jefferson Street, Lee Street, Monroe Street, Peach Grove Lane. Again, these same areas here as this storm slowly moves to the east. This is going to be one that we're going to be keeping a heads up for as well in the Arica region, right there along the Potomac River with your back bays as it continues to cross Route 3 here over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. We are still looking at this tornado warning to be in effect here. Let's stop that and let's bring up the warning box here until 3:15 as this storm continues to move here to the east. And if I can actually throw on for us our severe watches, you can see that area there shaded in red represents that tornado watch that is in effect for much of the mid-Atlantic. Again, that goes until 10:15. Oh, there you go. Tornado watch until 10:15. To the south of Richmond, you also have a severe thunderstorm watch. This watch looks to be going here until 10:15 as well. Slightly lower tornado concerns, but still very much present and definitely something that we are going to continue to be watching really across the mid-Atlantic as we head throughout the afternoon and going here into the evening. I continue to watch the cell up here near the Waldorf area, just south of Bennsville, showing just slight signs of rotation. It looks like it's trying to maybe do a little something. I'm not sure it's going to be able to totally realize its potential, but this was the original storm that brought that tornado warning for us in Stafford County earlier. Let me show you that the base velocity rather, where we have winds going to and away from the radar, and you can see just a general, very slight pull away from the radar here and a slight pull towards the radar here. No active tornado warning here in Charles County, but something I'm going to be watching as this moves over the White Plains area just south of Bennsville, headed towards St. Charles and Waldorf. This is generally to the south and east of Pomoki, south and east of Bryans Road and Potomac Heights. But, you know, some rotation that we're going to watch, and if it's able to tighten up, I wouldn't be surprised to maybe see some sort of warning get attached to this as we head on here through the afternoon. Right now, storms are generally just very kind of scattered across the northern neck. These are slowly working their way north and eastward here towards the Potomac, and these should generally impact most areas by 10 o'clock. I think areas in like Anne Arundel, Calvert County, parts of St. Mary's may be waiting a little bit longer, as most of the attention right now is on areas like Westmoreland County, parts of Charles County, as well as these start to move east. But you can even see back out to the west, where we are already seeing some additional rounds of storms. Let me turn off our local radar and just get you a more regional look at radar so we can kind of loop this for you. Let's maybe take this over the last 2 hours, and you can see generally how things have been progressing here. Generally moving to the east, where we have our current round of storms throughout that tornado warning north of Fredericksburg and at Stafford County earlier. Now another one down here into Westmoreland County. But you can see we have more activity beginning to bubble up back toward Charlottesville and Harrisonburg to the west of Front Royal. And as that begins to move to the east here along our warm front, we will see if that's able to continue to hold steam and hold power here. So it's going to be something to watch. But for those of you in Westmoreland County under our active tornado warning, let's get you those safety protocols for you. You want to be moving indoors. You want to have a building with a substantial shelter, or a substantial shelter with a foundation, a mobile home, shed, an awning. If you think of like like what I'm imagining, or people want to flock to those pavilion looking things in a park. Those aren't going to be the safest. Those aren't really all that sturdy. So get to a sturdy building. You want to get to the lowest level of that building. A basement's great, but if all you have is a first floor, that is also okay. And you want to shield yourself. An interior room, put as many walls between you and the outdoors as possible, and you want to cover your body from any potential debris. Think maybe like a helmet or a mattress or a blanket or a pillow of sorts to kind of give you that added layer of protection. We do have a new update with our tornado warning. Let's bring it back on in here. Let's get local William Richmond Inc. TrueView radar loaded up here and bring it on down. We are continuing this tornado warning until 3:15. Let's get the latest update. Tornado warning remains in effect till 3:15, as I said, for northwestern Richmond County and central Westmoreland County. At 2:56, or just about 2 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Montross and moving east at about 10 miles per hour. Very slow here. This is radar indicated rotation. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes may be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur with this type of a storm. Tree damage is likely. The storm is just now over the Montross area. Additional areas impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include, but are not limited to, Singerly, Stratford Hall, Phoneswood, and Templeman. So you want to take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. You want to avoid windows. If you're outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter for you. You want to protect yourself from that flying debris. So going to be something we are continuing to watch here. Take a look at the latest velocity scan. See if we can get that loaded in here. Potentially. Maybe not so much. There we go. And as we zoom in, still seeing a little bit of that rotation here where you get those reds and greens kind of working together, looking to shift a little to the south of the Montross area, and not necessarily as put together as we had saw earlier with this system. Let me see if I can't just get you a history with this rotation couplet. We can see generally how it kind of spiked up there right about here. Right about 2:45 when we first came on for you. And now, it's there. Not necessarily the most concerning, but something to watch. Also continuing to look at this potential rotation couplet here near White Plains, just south of Waldorf, getting near your 301. And if I take you to a different version of our radar, I'm going to see if I can't just load this up here for you. There we go. So this is just almost the same radar, just a little bit of a different look. You can see where our cells are, but what I want to show you is where we have had rotation tracks. So this is over the last hour or so, where you see grays that indicate some rotation, yellow with some pretty moderate rotation, and any reds would represent for you high levels of rotation. What we can see, and you can really get a nice sense of a story here. You can see where we've been tracking the storm getting here into the Montross area as it crossed here into Richmond County, really spiking up there, now moving into Westmoreland. As we were talking about that storm that crossed from Colonial Beach near Swan Point. Continuing to watch this storm, as we've been mentioning here, north of La Plata here, getting into White Plains. You can see that potential rotation track. This is not a tornado track, but this does show where we have seen a history of some rotation with this storm. Now getting close to the Waldorf area and Mattawoman, Horsehead, and Brandywine heads up, and that other system, another cell that's moved through Stafford County that we have been watching. So we will see how all this kind of transpires here. You can see where our watches and warnings are kind of big picture here, and what we're watching. Right now, things are widely scattered. They should begin to kind of ramp up a little bit here over the next several hours as we see additional storms trying to fire, especially to our south and western Virginia. And we'll see how well they are able to track here as they head to the east, potentially trying to cross that Potomac River, trying to keep just a little bit of rotation there going with them. We'll see what they're able to do. Let's bring you back on over here to live William Richmond Inc. radar. Zoom ourselves out. Still only one active tornado warning right now. This is for Westmoreland County and Montross. The rotation couplet again continues to potentially maybe get sheared apart just a little bit, not nearly as concise as it once was. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this tornado warning potentially allowed to get expired here at some point. But we do now have this cell that's crossing over Route 3, getting into eastern parts of Westmoreland County. Those of us in Arica still going to continue to watch this. This is not an active tornado warning for you. You probably have a little bit of rain at this time right now, but just know you have a decently sized storm headed your way. Not seeing any indications of severe wind with this. Winds over 70 miles per hour. Not seeing any indications of hail. Are seeing a little bit of heavy rain with this, but the primary threat here really is that potential for a tornado. And it actually looks like our tornado warning has been allowed to expire. And actually, well, not expire, but it's been canceled as that rotation has really broadened out a little bit. But this remains a dangerous storm nevertheless. I'm going to continue to watch that by bringing on over to our other version of radar. You can see no active warnings at the current time, but continuing to track 1, 2, 3, 4 cells as they continue to move east. One in the Montrose area, one over Swan Point, one getting into the Waldorf area, and one getting ready to head back on over towards Nanjemoy. Any of these could tighten up with their rotation at any time and potentially produce a warning. So you're going to want to stay tuned to JB Weather for the latest information. We do still have a tornado watch that is in effect here for the entire Mid-Atlantic. All of the areas here shaded in red until 10 o'clock, from Hagerstown to Frederick on down towards the D.C. metro area, all of southern Maryland, northern Virginia, central Virginia, the northern neck and Tidewater areas until 10 p.m. This is where we could have a couple of tornadoes try to spin up briefly, along with damaging winds and heavy rain. So stay tuned to JB Weather for the latest information. I'll continue to keep you one step ahead of any storm that fires up. Stay tuned on Facebook, Twitter, or X, Instagram, the website, YouTube. You can get all of my updates at all of those locations. In the meantime, have a nice and safe one. Keep it tuned right here to JB Weather and keep a weather eye to the sky.
Check the forecast anytime online at jbweather.com.